how many of the Ohio State fan base would be so irate over Urban Meyer still keeping his job? How many? So
what they'll find, or what they'll find.
If they find what we're assuming, which is no much more.
No smoking gun or anything
exactly.
like that. Well, then I think they're going to see...
him having reported, he can't be fired for cause. If there's no lawsuit coming from Urban or somebody else, if there was no Title IX violation, with the ultimate of respect, and you could sit here and hear what we're talking about, well, what about the scourge of domestic violence? Correct. It's awful. It's terrible. But when you're talking about a head coach and a program that's won 73 out of 81 games, I'm being blunt and honest here. If that's what a 3-game suspension does. It's terrible. Mea culpa. We've punished him. He's got that on his mark and record. But he's still a coach.
But I'm looking at it saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I just don't think the punishment looks like you're really doing anything.
No, it doesn't.
I think Ohio State, if there's no smoking gun, I think Ohio State fans are going to look at it and go, you know what, he was exonerated because the police didn't bring charges. Right. And then they're going to say, because it's really hard for people to figure out what happens in somebody else's personal life. And they know this is a really screwed up marriage between, the Smiths, and now they're not married anymore. And there was a lot of, I think it's different if they find out there were charges made and then they look the other way. But if there were no charges made, I think people are going to say, well, what did Urban Meyer know? And if this is all he knew and his boss knew about it, could he, if he's going to, he could fire anybody he wants, by the way. He's forced out other guys because they weren't ideal fits for what he wanted. He could fire anybody. But I think there's going to be the other side of it is going to say, well, was he firing him for no reason because he didn't have a reason, because there were no charges against him? The police never found. I mean, I think that's some of what you'll hear, and all the stuff that we talked about not being truthful or being clear, however you want to say it, at Big Ten Media Days. That stuff will be things that other people will throw at him.
No doubt.
But Ohio State fans, I don't think they'll cling to it.
Correct. I agree with you. We just chatted all throughout the commercial break.
Are we arguing?
He's not getting suspended.
Well, what are they going to do? Just say, welcome back? We found nothing.
But if you're suspending him, what are you suspending him for?
Well, then why'd you put him on an administrative?
You're investigating.
Because
you
they
need
had
to
to
investigate it. I don't. By the way, I don't think we're like really, really disagreeing. I think we're kind of like just surprised that you're thinking like the Band-Aid of a 3-game suspension is relevant to anybody.
So that's a PR move.
It's exactly what it is.
But why do they need to do that?
It's not even a good PR move. I think it's a bad PR move.
Then what's a good PR move?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know exactly what the facts are going to find. I think when you set this up the way, not you per se, but when Ohio State has set this up the way they have, I think you either go through it and say, okay, did he handle this the way he's supposed to handle this? And if he did,
then we can't fire him for cause, and he's going to sue us if we do anything. That was what his letter basically said. Yeah. Love Buckeye. I keep getting it wrong.
It was family and then
Buckeye
nation.
family and Buckeye Nation. Yeah. These are the only people to whom I really owe a response, and the media is not one of them, which is why I handled it the way that I did. But I'm telling you, I've done everything right, and I'll see you soon. Which is basically, when that happened, we're all like, okay, so then he did report him. What does that mean for the athletic director?
That's another big issue.
And we haven't had that answered yet because Gene Smith has not sent out a statement.
Gene Smith has not said anything. And you could be cynical and go, well, Gene Smith's in his mid to late 60s.
So he'll tap out?
I don't know. I mean, he's a well-respected AD within the
sure
business.
Is. Yeah.
But as you said, 73-8. They're a team
73
with a shot at a national title game.
I know Tressel was successful.
Won a national title. Was at the top of his game too. Just wasn't at quite at this level. Yeah, I think Urban Meyer is on a different level. Yeah, the only coach who's better than him right now in college football is Saban. That's it.
Oh yeah.
And if you think about it, I don't know if you want to walk down this road, but if they were to have made a move and had to go find somebody else, Nick Saban's not going to Columbus, Ohio.
No.
I don't think David Shaw is going to Columbus, Ohio. I'm not saying they can't find anybody, but
Stoops is sitting right there.
I don't think, from what I heard, I don't think Stoops wants to go back into that. Oh, I'm sure Greg Schiano would love to have that job,
right there.
But they didn't give him the chance to be the interim.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.